He is someone that is really, really impactful to the figure skating world and definitely to myself. He actually grew up skating with me in San Jose, and on Sunday mornings, he was the first one, his drive, and he always pushed me to work even harder than I already was. So I'm so thrilled to be able to talk about his journey from when he was younger all the way till now as a two-time Olympian, an Olympic medalist, a world medalist, and to top it all off, he's also a student at Brown University. So I am so, so excited to add him to the live just right now. Let's add Vincent. And the funny thing is, he's on a tour bus. So I love the fact that he's been able to make time for us. Hi, Vincent.
Hi, Michelle. So great to be with you today.
So, so great. I was telling everyone how, I think this is an awesome connection that we're having, a reconnection, because you truly inspired me when I was younger. And, to see you on this bus right now, can you tell everybody what you're up to and where you're going?
Yeah, thank you so much for the bio and introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm currently on our Stars and Ice tour bus. We are going from San Jose to Boise for our next show, the 21st show out of 24. So I'm kind of sad that it's coming to an end shortly, but it's super exciting to be on tour life, and this is really interesting and different.
Definitely. Yes. And thinking back to when you were younger, honestly, when I watched you, I thought you were superhuman. And of course, you weren't because you had this huge injury that left you off the ice for a really long time, a handful of months, and then you were back on and the work ethic continued. So I kind of wanted to dive right in and kind of ask you about your perspective of yourself as a child, because as an outsider, I was just in awe and truly inspired.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. And yeah, I remember those early days skating at 5 a.m. at Sharks Ice. Um, my perspective of myself as a kid was kind of different than how I see myself now. As a kid, I was super, super extroverted. I would, I was super competitive and I would want to be the best at everything. I was super energetic. I would try anything. And that energy really helped me, kick things off from a young age and start trying, doubles and triples super early. But then after my injury, which I got surgery for at age 12, and the subsequent, complications that uh, made me miss 2 years of competition. That changed. I guess that changed a lot of things, and now I'm more reserved and thoughtful, and I don't rush headfirst into trying crazy things. But I think that spark of joy for skating has always been there. That competitiveness and desire to try harder things and better things has always been there, which is part of why I started trying quads and
Yeah.
started landing quads when I was 14 or 15. So
And I think it's really awesome for skaters out there, especially young skaters out there, to kind of hear that perspective because there is a shift. And especially for me as a coach, people start to get that shift earlier than later these days. And I was curious if, you had insight or what type of advice you have to younger skaters out there who are dealing with that transition because it is a difficult one when you go, you know, you're hungry, you're fearless, but all of a sudden there's a switch where it's like, oh no, I am circling on my jumps or I'm popping my jumps. What helped you? And maybe your support system was that for you.
yeah, well, definitely things change a lot as you start growing and as you start getting to a higher level, pressure starts coming in from different sources. I would say one of the best pieces of advice that my coach, Tom Zakrajsek, has ever given me is to keep an open mind when I'm approaching a challenge or trying to go into a super difficult jump or going into a free skate when I'm super tired or sore or just not feeling it that day. Keep an open mind. That's just a really great neutral spot to reset yourself to when things are not feeling optimal.
That's really important too because whenever you have that closed mindset and you kind of shut down, then you don't give yourself that opportunity to even try. So I love that. That's really important. And how has that mindset helped you to get to your place right now where you were able to make it to the Olympics 2 times and medal and have the world's medalist under your belt? What are some of those key things that really helped you to become who you are today?
Well, keeping an open mind was one of the more recent things that I've learned. I would say what got me through my teenager years and through my first Olympics and my first world medal and into my second Olympics was still that childhood spark, that Olympic dream, that burning passion, that desire to, to make an impossible dream possible. That's carried me all this way. So to all the young skaters watching this, or if anyone's, reading about this, I would just say no matter how difficult things are, or no matter how impossible it seems that for you to be able to, get to a certain level or even get to the next level, um, just never stop, never forget why you skate. It's because we love it. It's because we have passion for it in our hearts. And that desire to be better, to be stronger, let that motivate you. Let that push you further. Don't fight it.
That's beautiful. That's something that I definitely try to remind my students, especially when a competition doesn't go well. There's another one down the line. There's still more opportunity to grow, or it's the beginning of the season. So this is not the end point.
Right.
And, talking about downfalls or feeling like a bad performance is not going to encourage you to go into the next thing. I wanted to actually talk to you about the Olympics because there was such a meaningful aspect of your performance for the whole entire nation, for the country. And there was also a lot of pain that was involved with it. And I commend you so much for being able to share your vulnerability. I remember watching your video that you shared after you found out that you couldn't skate. And I think we were all so devastated, but we were so behind you. So, what were some things that were going through your mind at that point? And, how did you come out of that to be able to pursue this next challenge of going into Worlds right away?
Sure. Well, I guess this will be a bit of an answer, but we will be covering, I guess, two areas, Olympics and Worlds, in one, so that's understandable. But let me start with the day after I moved into the isolation hotel room. Um, I woke up, um, I woke up, sometimes you wake up and you don't know where you are, for a second, and that was definitely like I was just staring at the ceiling for a second. I was like, where am I? And then when the reality hit, I was just like, oh no, I should not be here right now. It just felt wrong. Like if you went to bed at home one day and then woke up like in the middle of a different continent the next day with no explanation. That's what it felt like. And everything just, came crashing down once more again, and it was very difficult. Um, it got better day by day, but then on the day of the men's free skate, which I didn't watch live, but I was following the results loosely. And when I saw the results and I knew that I could have medaled, it just all, reset again, and it just hit all over again. Um, but I think the true worst part wasn't in Beijing, it was after I got home. Because when I was still in Beijing, like some part of me still, was on that, I guess, Olympic high, even though it wasn't a high, if you know what I mean. But after I got home, that's when it was just I couldn't even pick up my skates to go training for Worlds many days. Um, and I think, I think it's a blessing in disguise that I had Worlds, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that in hindsight because Worlds went well for me. If Worlds hadn't gone well, I probably would still be saying this because Worlds was something really close to motivate me to keep going, even when I had just lost what I thought I would always have with me for my entire life. Like when my dreams were just felt like they were destroyed. I Worlds was there to, motivate me to, if not if not motivate me to go to the rink, at least motivate me to like keep breathing every day.
Yeah, it's
Um,
real. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but like I essentially did not train leading up to Worlds. I skated, I tried my best, but mentally I was just in such a terrible place that I physically could not get myself to do what I was capable of. But as Worlds approached, as the deadline to finalize my flight approached, I had to make a decision. And the only reason I made the decision to go to Worlds was the single thought that I did not want to live with the regret of not trying. Because that childhood spark that I talked about so many times already, that motivated me to, try my first single axle, double axle, triple axle, try my first quad lutz. That same spark, that same competitiveness was, we come full circle. That was what got me to Worlds. Once I got there, I felt so free because I had already taken the hardest step getting there, and that sudden freedom um, allowed me to skate there with just all the weight off my shoulders, I guess. I had no expectations for myself. Honestly, I didn't expect to medal at all because I hadn't trained for so long. I was just, I was just, glad to be there and glad to still be kicking and not go down without a fight. But um, things turned out really well just because I finally, I was finally able to skate with that freedom that people so often talk about, but very rarely are able to, get get in a proper mental state to be able to achieve. So, yeah, that's my Olympics to World story.
It's amazing because when you're articulating it right now, I literally think back to the moment that I watched you at Worlds because there was so many emotions. I think everybody who was behind you was going through the waves, but of course being able to hear the reality of what was going on, you went through that and it sucks because you were doing it in isolation, but I hope that you know that we were all behind you during it all. But I'm thinking about that world's performance and I actually did see that childhood Vincent, and I think it's so cool that I was able to witness you. I think you were like 9, like 8, 9, 10, and just jump after jump after jump, program after program after program, and you were so
Yeah.
free, and I saw that freedom in that world's performance. And I love that you're able to say and tell everyone out there, who has ever felt doubt or felt too much pressure on themselves, that sometimes if you just let go of all the expectation and honestly trust your training, because the fact that you didn't train weeks before Worlds, it proved that your years and years and hours of training was able to support this beautiful moment at Worlds. So yeah, it was a very, very special moment. And I hope you realize that everyone at home can see it. And, that childhood spark is something that will fade away if you don't remember it. But it's beautiful for you to really articulate that so that somebody who has lost faith in themselves can remember why they started.
Yeah. Well, a lot of what you just said is stuff that I, figured out the hard way after Worlds. And I think that's something else that I realized a lot is that like you can try to um, tell people things as much as you want, but people really only learn the hard way. And you think that someone who's been to 2 Olympics might have it all figured out, but clearly I didn't because I didn't believe that I would medal at Worlds. I mean, I wanted to really badly, but I didn't think it was possible, and then I proved myself wrong. So that taught me that, sometimes I just have to let go of it and trust myself more. So I'm looking forward to the opportunities in the future where I will get the chance to embrace that.
Yeah, I think you unlocked a new Vincent because you know how to do everything. Like all the jumps are there, the performance aspect of there, but this is like a sense of freedom. And I'm really excited, and I see it in your Stars on Ice performances. Can you actually tell us about how you're feeling on this tour and what it's been like?
Yeah, this tour is so exciting. I would say it's the best. I mean, I'm saying this because so many other people have said it, but well, it's the best tour Stars and Ice has ever put on. We've got really exciting, well choreographed group numbers done by Jeff Buttle, and just the level of skating is so high. I mean, this Olympic celebration tour, this team has been competing together for so long. This is like this is like a grand finale, I guess, of this competitive team, if you will. A lot of us are retiring, and it's just like we're all enjoying ourselves so much. Like all of us are finally letting go and just enjoying it so much more. And everyone loves each other so much, and you can see it in the group numbers. We have a great time. Get your tickets. This is not a paid promo. Get your tickets.
Yeah, you have like 3 more shows left, right?
hmm Four,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Oh, 4 more shows left, guys.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? I know you know, are at Brown. What are you interested in studying? What's to come for Vincent?
Yeah, so I'll be returning to Brown this fall. I'm really excited. I'll be taking the full course load and finally starting to switch gears a little bit. My concentration is going to be economics and the business track. Um, I would love to continue skating and working with skaters and working with US figure skating and, giving back to the community that supported me so much over these years. Um, as I switch gears, but we'll see how things play out. I'm not retired yet. I know I said a lot of us are. I'm not officially retired yet, so we'll see how things go.
That's awesome. Very meaningful conversation with you. And if you want to let anybody out there know of any advice that you wish that you had when you were younger, um, would you like to share some last words?
Um, I mean, as I'm going through the trials uh, of taking the reins of my own life, I would say to my younger self and to all the kids out there, just embrace every moment and experience your emotions fully. Experience your challenges fully. Experience your victories fully. Embrace all of it and let it shape you into a better person.
Thank you so much, Vincent. That was beautiful. And I want to thank the tour bus and your tour manager for giving us this 15 minutes. Woo!
Thank you, everyone, so much. This was a pleasure. Great to be live with you, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Bye, Vincent. Good luck.
Bye, everyone.